Good evening, everyone. I am live events producer Taylor Crenshaw, and the first to welcome you to Science is a Piece of Cake. KQED is Northern California's PBS NPR member station, and KQED Live is our events program that produces games, screenings, talk show, performances, food tastings, and more based on KQED's mission to inform, inspire, and involve. You can learn more about KQED Live going online and typing in kqed.org/live. Now, if we bring value into your everyday life, I encourage you to consider becoming a KQED member. Becoming a member at KQED means supporting local journalism. And one of my favorite benefits is early ticket access and 15% discounts to select events. We like discounts, right? Right? Nobody likes to pay full price. It's 2025. And one of the benefits of becoming a member using this QR code is that you will receive an artisanal chocolate with hints of ginger. So you can go ahead and scan this QR code at the end of the event. There'll be more QR codes in the hallway for you to scan and be connected up with us for real. Be a real family. Now, we want to give a special thank you to our sponsors that make KQED Live possible. Thank you to the San Francisco Symphony. Thank you to Genentech. We are so grateful for your commitment to supporting our mission of civic and cultural engagement. Now, we want a very sweet and rich thank you for our partners tonight, the California Academy of Science. Let's give a big woo-woo for them. You are going to see two of their amazing scientists on stage, both of whom co-collaborated for our baking prompts. And so raise your hand. Are there any people from California Academy of Science in the building tonight? Stand up, stand up, stand up. And let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now on to our host, Cecilia Phillips from Check Please Bay Area. She is the coordinating producer and on-camera reporter and has been a long part of the Bay Area food scene, working under several celebrity chefs and as a food tour for many years in San Francisco. Within Check Please Bay Area, her segment, Cecilia Tries It, follows her around the Bay Area in search of off-the-beaten-path spots for culturally diverse culinary experiences. She is the creator, producer, and host of her own food game show for KQED Live, Chew on This, where contestants answer, analyze, and eat their way through food trivia and games. Recently, she's been tapped to host KQED's newest digital food series, Beyond the Menu, which explores the origin stories behind people's favorite food in an absurd amount of detail. And now our second host, Adhiti Bandlamudi, is a housing reporter for KQED News. And she covers all kinds of news, including what's happening in the state legislature and how cities try to become more walkable. She also moonlights as a baker and runs a small cottage bakery called Badam Babe, where she makes cookies, cakes, chocolate, and confections inspired by her Indian American heritage. Adhiti is the creative mind behind Science is a Piece of Cake and works with scientists to figure out how to translate concepts like astronomy, forest ecology, geology, into baking prompts that are both educational and delicious. Now, please give it up real big. Let's hear some noise for our two hosts, Adhiti and Cecilia.
Hi, everyone. welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I know that they just mentioned that there were two of us. This is just me right now. I'm Cecilia. Thank you all so much for being here. How many of you have been to one of our live events before? Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for coming back. We have a really exciting event tonight, and I'll tell you all about it. But I wanted to first give a few thank yous to all of you all for being here, for everyone who's watching at home live, because we actually live stream every KQED event that we do in this common space. And also a big thank you to the folks at Baking Arts. Did anybody come here for the first part of the event to check out the baking mixer? Okay, all right. Thanks for being here early. So Baking Arts actually did a mixer where everyone could kind of hang and mix and mingle and learn about baking. We also want to give a big thank you to Kalaka Coffee, who is here. And then, of course, we're going to learn more about Jamie and Elisa, but the cupcakes that you all had when you were coming in were from them. So we'll thank them as well for bringing those treats for us. Tonight, we're going to learn so much about science, of course, baking, and all of you who brought your baked goods in to have us take a look and judge them. And we're going to be doing this across 3 rounds. There's going to be a beginner, advanced, and intermediate round, but we've done something a little bit different this time. I can't even go any further without bringing out my amazing co-host with the most, Adhiti Bandlamudi. Come on out, Adhiti. So as was mentioned, Adhiti by day is a KQED housing reporter, and then by night and on the weekend, you are a bomb baker, right? Yeah?
Thank you. Yeah. I try.
You do. You bring in all kinds of baked goods for us at KQED, so we're super excited. And you always wanted to do an event like this in conjunction with Sarah Rose and her idea to kind of bring science and cake together. You are really excited because you are a masterful baker. So what are you most excited about for this event, and what are we going to get into?
I mean, oh my gosh, this is always so much fun. This is our 4th time doing this event. The very first event that we did was in 2023, I want to say, and it was geology. Then we did one about astronomy. The most recent one we did was about forest ecology, where we had these amazing cakes that looked like sequoias and redwood trees. This time around, we're doing a whole competition based around marine biology, specifically in the kelp forest. And you guys, I mean, clearly you can see the level of artistry here is just so great. We had 40 submissions. Unfortunately, only 3 cakes per round can make it on stage. But before we get into that, we really wanted to shout out the semi-finalist round. These are cakes that are just really spectacular.
So we're doing something a little bit different this time. So because we had so many amazing cakes, we wanted to give a shout out to some cakes that were really fantastic. They didn't quite make it to the stage, but they showed incredible accuracy and a really great taste, right?
Fantastic flavors. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so to begin, we'd love to just have the people who were our semi-finalists, which you have the information of what those 3 folks are, come up. And when you come up to the stage, please grab your cake if you're able. And if you're not, we can have somebody assist you, and then walk up the side of the ramp here so we can talk to you on stage. So here are our 3 semi-finalists.
Okay, so for beginner round, cake 5 won in the semi-finalist round. Do we know who that is? Yay! Awesome.
And then come up to the
Grab
stage.
Your cake and come up on stage.
Right?
For the intermediate round, it was cake 16. Oh, awesome! Good job.
Great.
And for the advanced round, it was cake 25. Great job.
I'll have you stand it right here, please. There you go. And then can you hold it for a second? This one looks sturdy. This one looks kind of heavy. All right.
So I gotta say, I know for cake 5, we noted that it had great flavor and also great texture of the cake too.
Fantastic. I'm going to have you scoot over here to the side, and then we'll have you go right over to the right of the stage. Be very cautious, and then we'll have you come right over here to the middle. So you are over here, and you were the intermediate round. And Adhiti, what did you love about these ones?
So this one, we thought that the design was really cool, and the flavors just really stood out to us. I believe that one was the, I love the inside of the cake, and there was a buttercream in there that was so good.
Okay, great. And then this is our final round. This was the advanced round, and we're going to tell you all about the prompts for all of you who didn't enter as bakers. But this one, oh, there we go. We're going to get a spread here. This is always the best part, the close-up. All right, and then for this one, what did they love about these?
Okay, we were blown away with the flavor. I think there's like a pistachio cake on the top, and we couldn't stop eating it. It was so good.
All right, so I'm going to do something here that may be treacherous. Everyone, give me a round of applause, please.
Like, look at those little fish. Oh, my God.
I know. Oh, my gosh. We're really testing the boundaries here. Hold on one second.
Look at those layers. So
All right,
good.
Adhiti, I'm going to let you do the last one. You got it?
There we go. Okay, she got it.
There we go. Okay, so there's the inside. So the big reveal. All right. So I think Adhiti, if you want to ask the beginner here, how did you get the cakes going? What was your inspiration? What did you use on the inside? And tell us about the flavors.
Well, when I first saw the prompts, I was thinking of something bright and something green. And I love lemon, and lemons are bright. And I was thinking of green because of the kelp forest, and so I chose basil because I like lemon and basil together. And so I did a lemon basil cake. It's all gluten-free. Yeah.
I did not know that. This is fantastic. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's my gluten-free blend. I make my own flour. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, let's give it up for our beginner here.
So good. Oh my God, that lemon.
All right. Everyone's still doing good holding their cakes, right? No disasters. All right. So what is the inspiration for your cake? How did you make it and what's inside?
The inspiration for my cake is a specific bake shop in Pismo Beach. It's a cinnamon roll place that I have a lot of memories specifically of that beach. And so my cake is a carrot cake with roasted walnuts and caramel and then a creme brulee filling.
So good.
Sounds delicious. All right, let's give it up for the intermediate round. There's frosting everywhere. All right, you're doing great. And then, so what's interesting about yours is you're gonna have to do a little twist of the other way for me because it looks like there's two different colors on the inside here. So tell us about the two different layers and what kinds of flavors you used inside.
So my inspiration for this was to do kind of some California themed flavors and then also just try to do as unique and creative as I could. So the top layer is pistachio cake with browned buttercream. And then the bottom is a vanilla bean cake with blackberry buttercream, and the blackberries are ones that I picked this weekend in Northern California.
Foraged.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so ultimately, Adhiti, these are all fantastic cakes, fantastic finalists. Let's give them a round of applause. We have something for them.
We do have something for them.
All right, so Adhiti, you can find her at the end. She's gonna give you this prize, but we're gonna have you walk off really quickly. Give them a round of applause here.
Careful of that.
So let's talk about the prizes. What did you source? You did some really cool stuff this time.
I did. Okay, so this time the semi-finalists have won a decorating spatula, a mini spatula, Halloween sprinkles, icing bags, a bench scraper, and also, it's public radio, so we got to get a tote bag in there.
Amazing, always. I don't know how I feel about the Halloween sprinkles. I don't know if I'm ready. I'm not sure if I'm ready.
It's
it that time? You're right. You're right. Okay, so the semifinalists got that, but the people who are going to actually make it up to the stage here, they got something else additionally?
They did. So the people who win this get all of these, plus they get a Madeline pan, because hence, shell-shaped cakes, theme. Okay. And then also a can of vanilla bean paste, or a little bottle of vanilla bean paste.
Awesome. Okay, so those are going to be all the prizes. Now, we can't really have a science and bake-off event without having a few experts with us on stage, even though we know a lot about science and baking, right?
We know something.
We could do it, but I think we should actually have some scientists come out. So we have two people from Cal Academy, and I'd love for us all to welcome our first to the stage, which is Elora López-Nandam, please. Come on out. Yay. Hello, Elora. Welcome. We are so excited to have you. You are the Senior Research Scientist at California Academy of Sciences. You have done so much. You are really, your science is invested in invertebrate zoology, and you study genomics with aquarium husbandry for marine animals like corals and sea stars to inform the best practices for conservation and for breeding programs. So basically, a lot of your work we're going to be really diving into today about how you are handling a very specific issue that's going on right now. Can you tell us a little bit more about your work with California Academy of Sciences?
That's right. So I'm an evolutionary biologist, which means that I think about how organisms and populations and species change over time. And we're in a world where the world's changing really fast, and the ocean is changing really fast, and we're trying to understand how animals are changing with it. So at Cal Academy, we're breeding animals like corals and sea stars, and then doing research, including genetic research, to understand how we can improve our practices of breeding and how we can hopefully eventually reintroduce these animals back into the ocean.
Amazing. So we're going to talk about that throughout the rounds, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. And in addition to that, we brought out another scientist who's going to have a very different role than you tonight. Please welcome to the stage Charles DelBeek. Charles, come on out. So Charles, come on over. Charles is ready to eat some more cake. All right. Charles, you are the curator at Steinhardt Aquarium. And so how many of you have been to Cal Academy?
Thank you.
Great number. Cal Academy is beautiful. I've been going since I was a kid. Steinhardt Aquarium, 1923, is that when it?
1923, yeah.
I have not been going that long myself, but...
and I have not worked there that long either.
Okay, amazing. I wanted to confirm that. Okay, so you work on this aquarium, and there are almost 60,000 animals there, 800 species, but you're really into tropical fish and coral reefs as your study. And what do you kind of bring to the event tonight that's going to kind of tie in with what we're going to learn from Elora?
Sure. What I do is I manage the team of biologists that manage our California Academy California Coast exhibit, which is a 90,000-gallon replication of the Farallon Islands, which you'll see pictures of on the screen throughout tonight's event. And so we also display some of the sunflower stars, and our team manages the water quality and makes sure these animals are healthy, and we support the researchers in providing the care for those animals so that they can spawn and breed them.
Perfect. Now, for tonight, each of them are going to have very different roles. Elora is going to be talking about the science behind each of the prompts throughout the rounds, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and then you're going to be eating cake.
Yeah.
Great. You're actually going to be tasting, and you're going to be judging on the scientific accuracy of how the bakers actually made their cakes look, and you're going to be talking about all the different things that you've noted that the bakers have incorporated into their cakes, which is going to be really awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be challenging because they're all really good.
All right, so give them a round of applause, please. Perfect. Now, of course, we can't do this without also having some baking experts on hand, right?
Science is a piece of cake, so, we need some cake experts.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to introduce our cake judges, Jamie Lee and Elisa Sunga. Come on up, y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
So as they come on up, I'm going to describe, Jamie, you'll stand here. Yep, perfect. Jamie Lee is a luxury cake designer. If she looks familiar, if y'all have been here before, she's been with us since day one of Science is a Piece of Cake. Jamie Lee has competed on the Food Network and HBO Max, and her work has been featured in Brides Magazine, Style Me Pretty, and Pastry Arts Magazine. She also won Cake Concept of the Year and the People's Choice Award at the 2024 National Pastry Conference. And she is the first qualifier for the International Federation of Pastry Gelato Chocolate competition in Rome in 2027. Give it up for Jamie.
Jamie, can I ask you a quick question? So does everybody remember the image in the middle here? This was a very big thing that we used for promotional purposes for the event. This cake that you see here in the middle, tell us about it. I just have to know.
So that actually was inspired by the Academy of Sciences, their aquatic aquarium. So it was actually a birthday cake that somebody requested, and that's one of their favorite places to go to is the Academy of Sciences. And so I made some jellyfish. I don't know if they're anatomically correct scientists. I'm sorry, but they're
it looks great. All right, and then also we have to have Elisa.
Elisa, if you recognize Elisa Sunga, she is a celebrity, especially in the cake world. She is the creator behind the Salted Rye Instagram page. It's a beautifully curated Instagram page. She also is the creator of Cake Picnic. It's an international cake event with a simple rule. No cake, no entry. Actually, in 2024, last year, she hosted a San Francisco cake event, and it had 185 cakes. Her cake events have been featured in the New York Times, Cake Zine, Cherry Bomb. She also co-founded Bucket List Baking Club, which challenges bakers to bake according to a specific theme. Elisa, what's the theme this month?
Sweet rolls. So it's like, think cinnamon rolls, but not cinnamon rolls.
Amazing. Give it up for our judges, y'all.
All right. Now, Jamie and Elisa are going to be judging on two very different things. They're going to be judging on technical and creative aspects of the cakes. So they're going to get into the specifics of what they're going to be looking for in the cakes throughout, and so everyone can understand how these cakes were judged and how they came to the stage. Now, I just want to see a show of hands. How many people came here because they brought a cake? Amazing. Okay, thank you, bakers. And then how many people came here because they just love cake? Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, without further ado, I feel like we really need to kind of get into a little bit more of how these prompts came to be. Now, Adhiti, you and I went to the Cal Academy and we chatted with you, Elora. And when we were there, we learned a lot about these two very different things that we're going to learn from about beginner and intermediate rounds, and then also kind of more an environmental thing. So let's just kind of talk through the prompts, Adhiti. Let's start with the beginner round.
Yeah. So the beginner round is focused around the sunflower sea star, which is kind of the inspiration for this whole event. We went to Cal Academy. It was Cecilia, our showrunner, Sarah Rose Leonard, and we went to Cal Academy and we were like, cool, marine biology, what's that all about? And Elora actually started talking about the sunflower sea star, and we got so excited. We were like, it's done. The theme is decided. So basically, the sunflower sea star is really, really important in the kelp forest. It's what's called a keystone species, and Elora is going to talk more about that soon. But what we had the beginners do in this round is to make a cake that is anatomically correct to a sunflower sea star.
So I want everyone to kind of take a look at this amazing image. I know that everything these days is AI generated, but this was actually drawn by Adhiti. You did a great job here. Your illustrations.
I was trying to go for like a Great British Bake Off vibes, you know, but luckily the cakes that are up on stage are so much prettier than this, so very excited to get into it.
I think it's great. I think it's beautiful. So without waiting any longer, this is a big moment, but we need everybody to kind of like put all the energy that you can into making some noise for this. Let's dive right in and see these cakes, shall we?
Okay.
All right, so I know everyone's probably wanting to see these cakes in great detail, and I'm sure that they're going to give us kind of like a pan over to see all of the amazing ones that made it to the stage. Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping they would do. Fantastic. It's like we've done this before, Adhiti, just a few times. All right, so these are some of the cakes that made it up there. Right now, the judges are kind of talking and discussing, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And actually, I'm kind of curious to ask the judges, can you tell me a little bit about what is it about these cakes that made it on stage? Charles, what are you feeling right now?
Well, I like that they all had like the right number of legs. Shall we say arms? That's the proper term. I love like the detail on this sea urchin. That looks awesome because I've stung by those, so I know exactly what they look like. And I really love the texture on this one. It's very representative of the sunflower sea stars. So,
Jamie, what about you? What's standing out so far?
So a lot of things that are standing out is the right number of legs. To decorate that many legs is actually quite difficult, and have them all extending, but also the use of different types of mediums that I'm seeing here. So a lot of rice paper that was used, ice malt, different types of mediums to really create the environment for the sea stars.
Beautiful. And Elisa, how about you?
I think first impression-wise, just the size of them is super impressive. I love more cake is always good, but this one stood out. It's a phyllo cake. I've never seen a phyllo cake before, so when you see it outside later, take a look at the layers. It's incredible.
Amazing. Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, so now while they're judging, Elora, we would love to get into the science behind this and really kind of explaining more about your work, specifically with the sunflower sea star and what's going on with them. A very recent article came out just last month, the beginning of August, explaining the work that you're doing and how this particular creature is affecting the waters really drastically.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So these that you're seeing on screen are two real sunflower sea stars that you can actually go and visit at Cal Academy. These are animals that can get up to 3 feet wide. They're the second largest sea star in the world. And then it can grow up to 24 arms. So bakers did an awesome job representing all those arms. Wow. These are two of our sea stars on exhibit at Cal Academy. They hang out with the great Pacific octopus.
They're so cool.
And these species are really important, as Adhiti mentioned earlier, because they are top predators in the kelp forest. So they move really fast. They move up to 3 feet a minute, which sounds really slow. But if you can imagine that you're a tiny sea urchin or a tiny snail or a smaller sea star, this is an enormous monster coming to get you super fast. And so they are really important because they keep the ecosystem in balance. And unfortunately, what we've seen in the last 12 years or so is an enormous decline in this species due to sea star wasting disease. So in California, we've lost over 99% of these animals. Across their range from Baja California up to Alaska, over 5 billion of these animals have died in the last 12 years.
Why is that so crucial? Like, what effects has that had? And, of course, we're going to lead this into the other rounds as well, but why is it important that these creatures are kept around?
So these animals, and we'll get into it a little bit in the intermediate round, are really important for keeping all of the kelp forest grazers in check. So if you don't have predators, then you have an overpopulation of grazers, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. So who is this?
Yeah, so this is our hopeful message for the sunflower sea star that we have at Cal Academy, and we're working with a lot of different partners around the state and around the world. So this is a juvenile sunflower sea star that went on exhibit in December of last year at Cal Academy. At the time, it was 10 months old. Now it's about 18 months old, and the biggest ones are larger than the size of my hand, so they're growing very fast. They're eating us out of house and home. But this was part of the first cohort that we called the Cupid cohort, because they were born on Valentine's Day last year.
So cute!
That has gone around. They have a bunch of different siblings now, some at Cal Academy and some at other parts of California, and they're this first inspirational cohort that we hope eventually will lead to reintroduction of this species into the wild.
Let's talk a little bit more about that and what you have found through your research, right? Why are you so excited about these most recent findings? What is going to happen, hopefully, if your research continues to prove beneficial to these guys multiplying and creating a better, more stable environment?
Yeah, so the Steinhardt team, which Charles is an integral part of, has really demonstrated that we're able to grow these animals at scale. We can start with millions of embryos and really grow them up to result in hundreds of animals that survive, if not thousands. And if we can do this with a genetically diverse population, and that's where my research comes in, thinking about the genetics of these animals, then we really have hope of introducing a population that's not just large in number, but also diverse in their genetics.
Amazing. All right. Well, one of the next things we would love to do is kind of chat more with the judges, I think, and kind of get their findings.
Yeah, we want to understand how are the judges going to be making the decision on which cake wins. So Charles, curious to know, what kind of scientific qualities are you looking for in these cakes?
Well, I'm looking for overall anatomical accuracy and how it reflects the animal that actually looks like. Looking at the texture, because if you look at the photos of the live ones, you can see that they're very highly textured. They have these tube feet that will stick out at all different angles from outside the arms and underneath the arms. And the color as well, looking at the color. And then the overall shape of the body as well as the arms.
Yeah, Jamie,
I would just like to add too that we have bred more of these animals and raised more of them than anyone in the world.
Wow.
Over 150, I believe.
Yep. Over 150 of them.
Yep.
Oh my God, wow. Okay, so Jamie, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for here.
That's awesome. I'm glad I didn't have to taste 150 of these. But so what I'm looking for in the design of the cakes really is technical skill. So meaning, what kind of mediums did you use? How did you use them? Did you find interesting ways to use, say, noodles or isomalt, creating waves with it? Texture is another big thing. So seeing how you're incorporating all of that into one cake and keeping it nice and cohesive.
Awesome. And what about you, Elisa?
I'm taking a look at structure, so seeing how many cake layers there are, how many tiers, is it stable, is everything edible, and then the flavors that are included. Like this cake has 3 different flavors in one. I can't wait for you all to try it, but taking a look if all those flavors are distinct and you can taste it.
Amazing. Awesome. Very
Fantastic.
cool.
All right, so basically you all got a chance to taste them, take a look at them, and we got an understanding of how they kind of got to the stage. Elora, I did want to ask, was there anything else about this amazing creature, this animal that you study, that you saw, and especially in the cakes, that you were really impressed with, or anything else that you wanted to wrap up by mentioning before we move on?
Yeah, I was really impressed by many of these cakes, how they really represented that these animals are not just a single color, but they have a really incredible, like, kind of textured and really multi-layered, multi-pigmented colors in them. And I think that was represented really well.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they would be found out in the wild. Okay, amazing. So at this point, we would love to invite the bakers who baked these 3 cakes to come up to the stage.
Wait, they're not.
So take this.
Fantastic. All right, come on up. And then if each of you could come to the stage and then just kind of stand behind your cake here. I also want to mention that I didn't see any of these cakes, nor did I taste any of them, so I have no influence on what's going on, okay? So don't find me after the show. All right, here we go. Let's see, we got 3 people here. Okay, nice and tight. Everybody stay nice and tight together. Cool. Amazing. All right, and behind your cake. All right, here we go. Come on forward. All right, so what's your name? Where are you from? And then tell me about the inspiration on your cake.
Hi, I'm Aria Krile. I'm from Danville, California, and my inspiration for the cake was this red and yellow sunflower sea star that I saw. So when I first saw the prompt for this cake, I went and searched, I'm like, how do these creatures look? Are they kind of like a starfish, or like, how are they? And just really learning about them was fascinating. For this cake, I did a chocolate cake with raspberry jam and hazelnut ganache filling. I love the ocean and I love chocolate, so I thought it'd be great for this. And the raspberry jam gives like a nice tartness to cut the breakness. Oh my. break the sweetness of the chocolate.
Amazing. Now talk about the outside and how you kind of did that. I'm going to take a guess here, and please don't be offended at me if I'm wrong. Are these Cheerios?
No, they're fondant.
You did fondant. That's impressive. Okay, now we're going to do the big reveal here, okay, everybody? Get excited. They love this part. They love this part. They cannot help themselves. Okay, so I want you to kind of describe how you did these other little accent marks for me in your baking terms.
So the sea urchin that we see here is a chocolate cake pop covered in fondant, and we used vermicelli for the spikes and airbrushed it. The kelp is rice paper kelp, and for the ocean water, we did blue buttercream.
Fantastic. Absolutely beautiful. One more round of applause here. All right, if you wouldn't mind coming forward. Okay, what's your name? Where are you from? And tell us about this fantastic cake that you baked.
My name is Melissa. I live in Pacifica.
And who's this?
This is Paul.
Oh, hello. Oh, wow. You helped, I could tell. Super excited.
Sugar in his hair.
Yeah, I can see it. That's awesome. All right, so tell me about how you kind of came up with the design here. It's massive.
Yeah, it's really big. Well, I have some mom brains, so I just thought like big orange starfish, orange flavored cake. So it's a phyllo cake. And it's just the layers and it kind of looks like this otherworldly sea creature texture. And then I made some Rice Krispie treat appendages here and covered it in fondant and some sanding sugar and some orange, purple, gold colors. And then there's also some pistachio buttercream in it.
And did you explain what the little...
Yeah, the little ossicles, part of its endoskeleton.
Yeah,
yes.
How did you make this one?
Oh, those are just white jimmies, and I just stick them in. Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. And if you can't see, I mean, here's where the Rice Krispie treat is, right on the edge, and then inside is the cake. All right, fantastic. A round of applause for you and Paul. Yeah. Okay, come on forward, come on forward. All right, 3 people for this massive cake. Makes sense, right? Okay, so this is gorgeous. I'm gonna just make some room here because I'm not even sure what's about to happen. This is always the fun part. Okay, so what are your names? And then how did you all, the three of you, come together to make this cake?
I am Tina Yin.
I'm Jean Pridgetel.
Sarai Cohen.
All right, so how did you even get started? What's the cake made out of? What are the accents?
So we are scientists and friends who work together in water quality and environmental protection. And we have an artist in our midst, and we have a couple of bakers. And so we each put our skills together. And I took myself down to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, took a look at theirs that they had in the aquarium, and we did a bunch of reading and looking. We were inspired by, as for carrot cake, because for the base is my layer, which is carrot cake with cream cheese frosting and caramelized pineapple and pecans. And I also put a layer of sunflower seeds in there because punny.
I get it. I get it.
So we thought that would be a good sea floor and a base.
Okay. And then the next component, who was that? Thank you. Ooh. All right.
I made the body of the sea star, and that is a spice cake with the same cream cheese frosting with caramelized pineapple in it. And we are embracing fall. So
fine.
We're here for autumn.
Okay, all right. And then what did you add to?
And so then I did the legs, which are a Fruity Pebble Rice Krispie treat and black tea cereal treat. We thought that it reflected well with the kind of stone canal and the structure inside a sea star. Also, it turned out to be the best way to kind of sculpt the legs. So yeah, that's how we decided to do it. And we broke it up into 3 parts.
Fantastic.
And this is caramel kelp.
Amazing. Does it taste like kelp?
It tastes like caramel.
Okay, got it. Fantastic. Round of applause for the bakers. All right, so how did we do? I'm going to actually stand behind these so you can help to describe Adhiti. Actually, I would love to hear a bit about what the judges thought.
Yes, so the judges, it was incredibly close. For this cake that Cecilia has her hand over, that cake was very scientifically accurate. Actually, we felt like it was the most scientifically accurate because it almost looks fuzzy, like that quality of the different kind of like endoskeleton that's bumpy. It's just so good. Then that second cake, I mean, I gotta say personally, the Rice Krispie treat was so nice and bouncy. Oh my God, it was so, so good. And the fact that it has so many legs is like so impressive. Really, really good flavor on that one. And then that cake, we felt like it was just really, really colorful. It showed a lot of skill. The fact that the sea urchin is like so pokey and used vermicelli noodles, that's so interesting. So, so good. Ultimately, the cake that the judges felt best exhibited the theme and flavor is cake 6, which is that cake over there. Yes.
I can help you grab the cake. Can you, the three of you, grab your cake and then go ahead and exit the stage, please? Go ahead and grab your cake and exit. Come on forward. I'm going to have you hold your cake. Thank you all so much. We're going to thank everybody. Thank you, bakers. We have a prize for you all at the end.
We have a prize for all the finalists. Come see me at the end.
You. But before you leave, I just want to ask you one more question. What was the most exciting thing that you learned from this event and trying to figure out the science behind this?
The most exciting thing I learned from studying all these like sunflower sea stars was like how important we really need them in our ecosystems. During my reading, I learned that if we don't have enough of these, the sea urchins could take over the kelp forest, and without the kelp forest, there would be no good ecosystem for any marine animals. So I think it's important that we need the sunflower sea stars.
Amazing, that was so great. Go ahead and take your cake, and then Adhiti's going to find you a prize at the end, okay? They're going to escort you off stage. That was the perfect segue to the rest of the event, right? That's exactly what we're about to learn. All right, so Elora, I'd love to have you kind of chat with us and Adhiti about this next prompt that you came up with, Adhiti. This is the intermediate round, and so we wanted to do something a little bit different. And this animal, this is also very important, but for a very different reason as opposed to what we just learned about the sunflower sea star.
It is, and actually it's so interesting because when we were learning about the sunflower sea star, it's almost like the themes kind of like made themselves. So what we learned, Elora is going to go into this more, but what we learned is that since the sunflower sea star has actually kind of like left the kelp forest ecosystem, now there are a lot of sea urchins that have kind of like taken over the kelp forest, and they create these things called urchin barrens, which are so interesting, and it's a very fascinating concept that Elora is going to go into. We figured because urchin barrens essentially means like a lot of sea urchins, we wanted the bakers to make entremets. This is a fancy French word that basically means a mini multi-layered cake. And it obviously has to look like a sea urchin.
Exactly. And you had basically a kind of a decision that you made about how many you wanted as well to be on available, because we want to see the number of them.
Yes. I mean, this was a particularly difficult, like we've never asked people to make entremets before. So I was like, I want a lot, but I don't want to put the bakers through too much hell. So we said, at least 5 entremets.
5 entremets. Okay, so they were able to do 5 of these, and then this is your next illustration. And so the fillings, it could be basically anything, but there was certain things that we'll ask the judges about that were really important to you to make sure.
Exactly.
Now, if we can talk to you about the exciting things about the science of it in just a second, let's talk to the judges about how these ones made it to the stage. So we'll step over to the side here.
But I guess first, we gotta see what the cakes look like. So we're ready to dive in. All right, 3, let's count down. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so as they're going to have the cameras show off to the audience all of these different amazing sea urchin entremets that came in, we will have the judges talk a little bit about how these particular cakes made it to the stage.
Yeah, what was it about these cakes that kind of stood out? Elisa, how do you feel about it?
I want to gatekeep this one so bad because it's my favorite. Like flavor and everything was so good. I wish there was 25 of them.
Wow, that's a lot of sea urchin cakes.
Jamie, what about you?
So with these, I mean, it's really hard. Adhiti, you did not make it easy for the people entering the competition, because 5 entremets, that's a lot. And these are not small entremets. No. And we're asking for a lot of details. So there's a lot of spikes, there's a lot of texture. So you can see each one has a different type of texture and different elements that they're adding into it. So each one is very different. So again, I think this was a very hard challenge. So we were looking at everything here. So from looks to texture to technique. Yeah.
Charles, what about you?
Well, I really liked the interior of this one here because it reminds me of eating uni at the sushi restaurant, and it was delicious. And the spikes on this one were awesome. And then if you look at the fine detail on the body, you can see all the rows where the tube feet come out of.
Yeah, this one has a specific shine to it too. And we're going to let the camera get on it so they can see exactly what you're talking about here, because the exact shine on this one is quite unique.
Yeah, and this one has large erect spines, and this one also it could be a little bit darker purple in my mind, but the taste was awesome on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I love coffee.
Okay, perfect. So that's what we were all looking for from the judges. So let's kind of talk about the science. We'll have you take front and center here. So let's talk about a little bit about these sea urchins and what you've learned.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit before about how sea stars are incredible predators. And what we're looking at here in this image is the consequence of what happens when you lose your top predators in an ecosystem. So purple sea urchins are not inherently bad. They're supposed to be in the kelp forest. They've been in the kelp forest for as long as there's been kelp forest. But the issue is that when you lose your top predators, then the prey can run rampant. And these prey have multiplied and multiplied and multiplied in the billions in the last 12 years. And what that leads to is what we call an urchin barren. And so what happens is that these guys eat kelp and they graze down the kelp in incredible numbers. And so what you end up with is something where instead of this incredible 3D structure of a kelp forest, you end up with just barren 2D urchins on the seafloor. And so then you lose all of the animals that would usually live in the kelp forest.
And I don't know if anybody's ever seen footage of this, but I happened to see some of the like high-speed footage of a time lapse of these creatures. Do they move kind of quickly too in some regard? A little bit?
Not as fast as a sea star, but certainly faster than kelp.
Yeah, exactly. And basically what you end up seeing are what I would describe as like carpets of these that are just kind of taking over the ground floor of the ocean. And I asked the question, which I hope all of you are thinking, which is, well, can't we just eat more uni? Right? Yeah, that seems like an easy solution, but that's not what happens to these.
Right, so when Cecilia asked me this question, I said that would be awesome. Unfortunately, what we're starting to see is that these sea urchins themselves are not doing very well because they've eaten themselves into what we call zombie land. So we have these zombie urchins now that are kind of starving, but they're able to survive still. So they're alive, but they're barely moving. They no longer have the uni inside them. That's the kind of meat part, which is actually the gonads of the sea urchin. And so when people try to harvest them, they're kind of empty, and so they're not tasty to eat anymore.
Has anyone ever been stung by one of these? Oh, just me? Okay, I was like, just me?
Couple, yeah.
Sounds like a terrible nightmare, just a zombie sea urchin that can just go across the ocean in a carpet. Sorry, I'm having flashbacks. Okay, so we can't eat these, but what else? Why else is it important that we kind of get these under control? They're eating the kelp forest, and what does that do ultimately?
Right, so the kelp forest is an incredible ecosystem that supports fish, it supports all sorts of invertebrates, it supports whales and seals and otters and all sorts of creatures, including humans, right? Because we like them for recreation and for our food and for all sorts of things. So there are a couple of things that people are doing to try to reduce urchins in these barrens. So there are divers who go out with hammers and just smash as many urchins as they can, which is
Whack an urchin, yeah, whack an urchin for sure.
And then there are other folks who actually take these zombie urchins into little urchin ranches and fatten them up as much as they can so that they then can be sold for food. So we actually are having some methods where we can actually make these harvestable for food.
We got to go to our next urchin ranch, shall we?
Guess so, field trip.
Is there anything else that would be really important to note about the ultimate effects of if these do not get under control? So obviously we talk about the ecosystem and we talk about places for fish to hide. We like seaweed. Anything else that like it affects the actual environment more, like things to think about?
Yeah, so we haven't talked much about kelp itself yet. We'll get into that in the next round, but kelp itself is actually really important for carbon sequestration. So they can actually take carbon out of the atmosphere and sequester them into their tissues. So that's a really important thing when we're thinking about the amount of carbon in our atmosphere as well.
All right. Well, I think we need to go to the judges and kind of take a gander at what they've kind of looked at and what they're going to be judging on.
Yeah, we want to know, how are the judges judging this round? Charles, how are you feeling so far? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for the accuracy in the number of spines and the orientation of the spines, as well as the test, what we call the test, which is the body of the animal, and how that is the texture of it and how that represents the wild ones.
Can you talk more about the number of spines? Is there a specific number?
Well, there's more than a few. I mean, if you can see in the photos, there's a lot of spines on those animals, and they're all standing up straight as well.
Mm-hmm. Jamie, what about you?
So I'm looking at how they're actually creating the spines, speaking of spines. So what kind of mediums are they using? It all goes back to those mediums. I'm going to say that word a million times. And also how you're creating the shell, right? So there's different ways to create the sea urchin shell, whether you use fondant or if you're going to use chocolate, cocoa butter spray, and meringue, which I thought was very, very creative. And then looking at the inside, I mean, this was really, really cool to see the inside, to have that split.
I don't know if we can do, I'm going to try it, but basically it's such a cool design.
Let's let the camera get on this too. So basically these had tops.
It has like a top to it.
That came off.
So you can kind of like, just kind of place it on and take it off.
Sorry.
And
I
there's
did
the uni. And this is made of meringue. And I heard Charles crunch into one of them. It sounded so crunchy and delicious.
Just like the test of the sea urchin, right? It's hard on the outside. It's not soft.
Exactly.
Awesome. And Elisa, what are you looking for?
I'm looking at the layers of the entremet, so looking at how much custard, cream, whipped cream, cake, and cookie they smashed into each one is amazing.
Awesome, awesome.
All right. I mean, what are some of the flavors that you all kind of experienced as well? I'm just kind of curious, like some of the things that kind of stood out.
This one, we keep chatting about it. It's vegan,
It's
which
vegan.
is blowing my mind.
It's vegan.
Yeah, it's
Oh
vegan,
my God.
and it's like chocolate, nuts. This one has lemon curd, poppy seed cake.
I remember this one was like very tart and bright.
It has blackberries in it to brighten it up. It's very, very nice.
Fantastic.
The meringue is like
Elora, before we move forward, I would love to know, is there anything else that you'd like to chat about these creatures before we bring up the bakers who made these?
I think we covered a lot. One fun fact that we haven't mentioned is that while the sea stars and the sea urchins look quite different from each other, they are actually part of the same group that we call echinoderms. So sea urchins, sea stars, and also sea cucumbers are all part of this larger family group that we call echinoderms.
Interesting stuff. All right, let's have our bakers of these cakes come on down so that they can talk about them while the judges judge them. Come on down. Right over to the right.
So I think we were over here.
Oh, all right. And then if you could just stand behind your cake, and then if you all would just be very careful as you're coming up here, okay? And just don't step over the lip here. There you go. All right, perfect. All right, and then just stand directly behind your cake. Amazing. I'm gonna have you come right up forward here. All right, so we'll start with this one. So we have these amazing turntables, which has made my job a lot easier on this round. I'm gonna tell you what, Elisa, we didn't have these before. Thank you for bringing these. So as they get kind of tracked on this one, what is your name, where are you from, and tell me about how you made these entremet.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Gori, and I'm from San Jose. And so for this specific cake, since we were raising ocean awareness, I decided to make this plant-based. So everything over here is vegan. And so for my cake, I did a coffee mousse with a dark chocolate ganache, a coffee almond praline, a coffee-infused cake, and a chocolate cookie at the bottom. And then the moss over here is just a regular vanilla vegan cake. And then for the spines, I did a isomalt.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. Let's give it up for this cake. Okay, so for this one, it was quite large. So we didn't get it on top of a turntable, but thankfully we can kind of give it a little spin here for the big reveal to show off the inside of your entremet. There we are. Beautiful. Now, I want to know your name, where are you from, and then tell me all the different components that came together to make this be.
My name is Jonathan. I'm from Berkeley, and all the components that are here, it's missing one. My main inspiration for this cake is that today is my wife's birthday, and she's here in the audience. So the one element is this spike right here, which I'm just going to stick there.
That's why there was spikes missing. That's why. Well, no fire. We'll just, there we go. Blow it on out. We're not getting the fire department. I'm so sorry. You can blow it out later when you're at home. There we go. That was great. That was great. Okay, happy birthday. So sorry. No fire. Sorry, no, that was great. They're very anti-fire here. Trust me. Learned from the hard way. Okay.
Thank you. I didn't ask permission for that. I wanted a cake that had crunchy texture and a bright flavor, and so the elements are an Italian almond cake with an almond crunch on top of that, and over that is homemade lemon curd. Above that is a Swiss-inspired almond candy that I hope stayed crunchy, and above that is stabilized whipped cream, and then the urchin tests or shells are made with white chocolate, and the spines are made with fondant that I spent entire day Monday rolling out, and they're glued on to the tests with white chocolate. And the base was meant to be like the rocks that the urchins are on, and that's a poppy seed lemon cake with the first almond crunch that I made on top of that. I don't maybe you guys tried that one, but yeah. So there's two different cakes here.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that they dove into the entremet, so this will be something that everyone who's in the audience can actually taste. And what's your wife's name?
Carol.
All right, should we all say happy birthday to Carol on 3? We're just gonna say happy birthday, Carol. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Carol.
All right, I felt bad about the fire thing, so I had to make up for it, but I don't know. You pulled a fast one on me. I wasn't ready for that. Okay, go ahead, right in front. You're doing great. Do you want to stand right here? Yeah, you're doing great. Okay, so can you each tell me your names, and then you'll tell me where you're from and how you made the cake. So what's your name?
Hazel.
Hi, Hazel. What's your name?
Avi.
Avi. What's your name?
Miriam.
Okay, Avi, I think you got a little bit of frosting on you, huh? It's pretty authentic. All right, so how did you make this cake, and tell me about all the components to put it together?
One of the things that I was really excited about when looking at pictures of sea urchins for inspiration was what it looked like inside. And so I right away started thinking about how could I make the interior to match what you would see when you open up a sea urchin. So inside I have passion fruit, jello, and blackberry jello, or gelée, and champagne for the kind of like liquidy bit that's in the middle of the sea urchin. And wanting to have the ability to open it up really led the design of how to encase it in something, because I needed something hard that you could lift it off. Right. So I went through a lot of iterations, and even this isn't quite what we had in mind, because the spines were supposed to be sticking out, but at the last minute it just wasn't staying together. So this is our compromise. And altogether, it's kind of a little more like what you'd see if you saw a sea urchin at a restaurant, because I think that's when the spines might kind of like not stay quite as erect in that context. And
yeah.
So there you go.
And one with it's just an easily removable top would be at a restaurant, right? Not maybe in the ocean, hopefully.
And on the inside, it's a chocolate chip cake and passion fruit mousse, in addition to the components before, and it's a cocoa meringue, and the spines are basically like giant sprinkles, so it's royal icing with blackberry and ube powder for coloring.
Awesome. And did you all help?
They ate a lot of sprinkles.
That's the most important part. Today you did. Amazing. All right. So I think that the judges have maybe come to a decision. So I'm going to have you all take a step back, and I'm just going to ask Adhiti, what did they love? What did they come up with?
Okay, so this cake, they were blown away by the flavor, especially the coffee flavor, and the fact that it was vegan. Like, I remember tasting this cake before and being like, wow, it's so good. The fact that it's vegan is just, I don't even understand. The second cake, basically the flavors were really good, but also the accuracy of the cake is just so good. Like, that outer shell is so nice and like thin, but also crispy and like kind of crunchy.
Let's have him get a little close up of the cake on this one. We'll give him a second to just
and also,
take one
like,
more
I don't
look.
know if you can see, but those spines are, I believe, yeah, like made of sugar, and they're so like almost translucent, like just gorgeous detail.
All right, fantastic.
And then the last cake, I mean,
Go back over
God, the
here.
creativity of it, the uni inside. I remember tasting that uni and thinking it was so bright and fresh. And the fact that you can remove the shell is just so fantastic. And also the fact that it's like hard too. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the cake that the judges felt was most accurate and tasty was cake number 9, the middle cake.
Thank you all so much. If you could take your cake with you off stage, we're going to get you a prize. You go right back, and they're going to grab you. Thank you so much. We're going to have you stay with us for a second. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. They're going to have a prize for you at the end. Thank you so much. Okay, so awesome. What were you most excited to learn when you were researching how to make a cake that would look as accurate as this one?
Well, I really wanted to make a real Strongylus introtus purpuratus, a real purple sea urchin with 1,000 spines on it. And I actually rolled out many more spines than this. And
what happened to them?
They're still at home. I ran out of time to glue more spines on, and as you might have noticed, some of the spines fell off. I'm actually astounded that I got here with spines still on the sea urchins, because I thought they would all fall off on the way. I didn't learn that much about urchins through this process. I'm actually a professional marine biologist, and
couldn't possibly learn more. All right.
But I learned a lot about cake making, and that was interesting for me.
Oh, you stepped outside your boundaries. That's great. Fantastic. All right, congratulations. Give you a round of applause. You're so welcome. You're so kind. Happy birthday, Carol. Happy birthday. Be careful. Please be careful. Please be careful. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. I'm going to go right up to the front here. We didn't expect fire. That was no one. It's a totally different competition. Okay. All right. So, wow. This has just been so much fun. Honestly, kind of sad that it's coming to an end, but we have to get to this advanced round. This one is really important.
It is so important, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you guys to see these cakes. Like, it's just incredible the amount of detail that people put into the cakes, and the flavors are phenomenal. So excited.
So let's talk about how you decided to have this be the final prompt and the advanced prompt, and what were you looking for, specifically for you, that would make this cake be an advanced round cake?
Yeah, I mean, for this cake, I wanted it to really be like a party. This is what the kelp forest will look like once, you know, the sunflower sea star returns and kelp can grow back again, and sea urchins are kind of put in their place a little bit. But so for that reason, we wanted it to be like a tiered cake that is fit for a celebration. And we were looking for a lot of like biodiversity. That's kind of like the theme of this round. We want to see a lot of different kinds of animals on the cake.
Okay, so this is the last final moment. We've got to make a splash, huh? Oh gosh. Okay, let's have everybody get really excited and give a big round of applause for this last round for the advanced cake bakers. 3, 2, 1. Oh man, I'm losing my mind. We got to give everybody a moment to take these in. Everyone's losing it. This is great. I will say, I'm noticing something myself. Reminder, I haven't seen these cakes. I haven't tasted them. So it looks as though 4 have made it.
4 made it on the stage. Basically what happened is we saw all of the cakes and the judges could not pick just 3 cakes. They were that incredible. We felt like these 4 cakes they needed to be on stage. They're just so good.
Amazing. Okay, so I think you should probably ask the judges while they're taking a big look at these ones. While they're doing a quick pan across, let's have you ask the judges really quickly about what they were really excited about and how these ones made it to the stage.
Yeah. So I'm super curious, actually. Charles, when you were looking at these cakes, what was it about the cakes that made it on stage that kind of like made the cut?
Well, I think they're pretty. Obviously, they're fantastic. I mean, this one I really like the algae on the rocks. I mean, diving. This is the colors that you see on the rocks. This is the biodiversity of all the different components. This one also biodiversity, and importantly, it has a person in a boat on top.
Also, there's a whale in the middle.
And there's
like,
a whale.
What?
This is a whale of a cake, let me tell you. And this one, the urchins and everything, the sea otter on top.
Yeah.
But important thing I wanted to say about that is that it's a reminder that we are part of the ecosystem. It's not just the animals. We are part of the ecosystem.
It's beautiful,
and we need to look
Charles.
after it.
Thank you.
Amazing.
So nice.
Jamie, what was it about these creativity that kind of brought it on stage?
I'm going to do the same thing. I mean, like, look at this. I mean, some are floating, some are, it looks like they're actually hovering through the kelp forest. So I'm speechless because I do a lot of cakes, but having them float and all of the detail that goes into it, really, I mean, the amount of time, and this goes for every single cake up here, that everybody put into their cakes is mind-blowing. I know it did not take 1 day or 2 days. These took weeks to make. So I don't want that to be lost on anybody, that how much detail and how much work goes into it. I mean, you look at the octopus here, all the detailing. There's one little sprinkle for the eye. I don't even know if you can see it. The feathers, each one here, I believe that's wafer paper on the bird. And if you can see that, the wafer papers, they made feathers with it. So, I mean, again, amazing. And then you look at the whale, all the little spots. I mean, each one was hand painted on, even the sea kelp that has the piped cream on there. I mean, every single one has the detailing from the eyes of the otter to the kelp forest here. And it actually looks like the stingray is swimming through the kelp forest. So,
and this sea otter, too, the face is so detailed, it looks like somebody went to Monterey, I'm sure. That's amazing.
I mean, everyone is just like, it's leveling up. I mean, this is these are all amazing.
Elisa, how about you? How are you feeling?
I bow down to everyone who made these cakes. These are stunning. Like this cake, every element is a different component. Like these 2 layers of cake or tiers have 2 different flavors. The urchin is a different one. The otter is one. The octopus is a different thing. It's crazy.
I think we even had tried like the crab there, or maybe it's the star, right? Yeah. Like it's one of the small creatures. Oh, the sunflower sea star. Yeah, it's like made of like marzipan or something. Yeah. It was so tasty.
There's a macaron in here.
Macaron in here. It's
Don't give them the big reveal yet.
Yes. Sorry.
Forget that happened.
It's part two.
That didn't happen.
All right, so let's move on into a bit of the science behind it, right? Shall we? So let's talk about the kelp forest. Can we start by really diving into what it means to talk about this as an ecosystem?
Yeah, so we've referenced the kelp forest a lot tonight, but we really haven't talked about what kelp is. So kelp is this incredible organism that many people think is a plant, but actually it's not. It's what we call a protist, but they're very plant-like. So they have chloroplasts, and they take energy from the sun and turn it into food. And like a forest on land, they can grow to be super tall, and so they create these incredible 3D ecosystems.
All right, and so can you tell us a little bit about some of these photos, the first one and then this one, of course. Like, what are we looking at and what are we seeing? And a couple of them are really important to the work that you do.
Yeah, so the previous photo that we had just a moment ago was actually a photo from the Cal Academy. So this is an exhibit that Charles and his team keeps up on the daily, which is incredible. We see a representation of bull kelp, and then we see the fish and the invertebrates that would live in the kelp forest. If we go to the next photo, we see a different type of kelp that you can also see in California. That's called the giant kelp. And again, the biodiversity that these kelp forests really contribute to.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there something about the fact that the kelp like creates these spaces for animals to exist, and that's part of why there's biodiversity? Or is like what about kelp, I guess, allows for biodiversity?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the kelp itself is a different kind of keystone species. So instead of being a predator, it's creating this 3D environment that, you know, animals can either find hiding places in, or they can eat it, or sometimes they use these as refuges for babies to grow up or for mating. There was a really interesting study that came out this year that suggested that orcas, or killer whales, use kelp to groom each other, which is really cool.
Like a hairbrush or something?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh my God.
So there's really interesting different uses for kelp, which is pretty cool.
All right, we have a couple more photos. What do we see here?
So here's another example of some giant kelp that's growing and that's looking super healthy and supporting fish. And then if we go to the next one, which I think is our last photo, this again is our kelp forest ecosystem at Cal Academy. You can see a diver who's cleaning the system, and it's a really good way to, if you don't want to actually get wet or have to get into the ocean, to really experience what the kelp forest is like when it's at its best.
Amazing. Charles, I feel like we would love to have you kind of talk about this photo a little bit as well, because this is specific to what you do on a daily basis.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what people see when they go to the Cal Academy and how they can understand the ecosystems better when they're taking a look?
Well, one of the things that we try to do is make sure that we don't have a box with an animal in it. We're trying to create ecosystems. So what you see here is kelp. Some of this is artificial because it's very challenging to keep kelp in an exhibit. All of the water that you see here, this is water that we make. We don't pump in seawater like Monterey does. We have to make our own seawater with salt mixes. Wow. So it's a lot more work than just opening a valve.
You're like baking your own water.
Exactly, exactly. And then, you know, diving, well, it's 50 degrees, so we don't dive every day. So it's every other day or so that we go in here. Our team, also, we have a team of volunteer divers. So if you're a diver and you want to volunteer in the tank, look us up online. You can put your application in.
Adhiti, next field trip.
I mean, I'm actually kind of curious, like, if the kelp forests are not looking like this, like, how far away are we from a future that does look like this?
Yeah, it's a great question. And one thing that I like to make a distinction on for people, because we talk about these things as being like giant forests with trees, that usually when we think about forests with trees, these creatures are very old. So trees can live for hundreds or thousands of years, but kelp usually only lives for about a year, which is pretty incredible because they grow to be about 100 feet tall in that lifespan. And so this is one of the things that gives us a lot of hope for bringing back kelp forests, that if you can clear spaces, and there have been places in California where people have been able to do this, where you can clear out the urchins and give the kelp a chance to actually reseed and have juveniles, not get eaten immediately, this kelp can grow very quickly on its own if it's just given a chance. And so that's what we're really trying to do at Cal Academy and with all of our different partners, is to give them a chance. Our method so far is to try to be able to reintroduce the sunflower sea star so that we can bring back these predators. But there's a lot of different other people who are working on different other solutions to really give the kelp a chance to thrive again.
What are some of those other solutions?
Yeah, so some of the other things that I think we've talked about in the intermediate round are just going and collecting urchins or smashing them or finding ways to make them more economically useful. So people are either raising them for food, or some people are trying to figure out how to use them for jewelry or other things. So there's a lot of creative people who are working on this problem.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
All right, I think we need to kind of chat with the bakers and the baking judges about what they were looking for, right? With this one?
Yeah. I mean, I guess starting with Elisa, what are you looking for in a bake?
For this category, I was looking at the tiers. We were looking for at least 2 tiers of cake with 3 layers of cake in each one. So again, I'm just always looking for more cake.
Awesome. Jamie, what about you?
So we were also looking for, the tiers of cake. How can you make the tiers interesting, which we see here? And then how are you incorporating the cake into the kelp forest? So interesting ways to make a kelp forest. I mean, and each one is slightly different how they incorporated the kelp. So you see a lot of rice paper. There is wafer paper. There's buttercream on rice paper. So I think it's just really genius how everybody did this. And they colored, again, working with rice paper is not easy. It can become very sticky. And so shaping it and having it dry, it's very, very labor intensive. So the amount of work that's gone into each one, I'm still blown away. Again, all these weeks of hard work, and you're going to get to try it all. Yeah.
Charles, what about you?
Well, just going on the flavor, I'm used to watching the Great British Baking Show, and I'm looking for the booze, like the cruise.
The family-friendly show.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Got to shut down the fire, shut down the alcohol. What's going on? It's all right. What did you like about?
But doesn't the alcohol burn off in the heat?
Yeah, that's true. If there's heat, that's for sure.
Well, I think all of these show an amazing range of biodiversity and accuracy in what these animals look like in the wild. And it's going to be a tough choice.
Did you find that most of the things that you see here would be reasonable to see in a healthy kelp forest? Was there anything that really stood out to you, or like, wow, I can't believe somebody made this?
Well, the octopus looks really cool. And,
Yeah.
and like I said, that otter and this otter coming out the top, and these urchins look really nice. And this one actually has polyps, because there are cold water corals, so they have polyps as well. And then scale, like you don't have like a giant, like a little octopus and a giant sea urchin. I mean, the scales are right.
Yeah. All right.
And
Amazing.
there's literally a little man in this boat. Like it's super, that's so hard to make a little human being in there.
Cannot wait to get
I
a
know.
close up. So at
Yeah.
this
And a
point, I
Golden
feel
Gate
like we
Bridge.
should bring up the bakers.
Yeah, we should bring up the bakers.
All right. Amazing. The 4 people who did these cakes. All right. If you all could move to the side, and then all the way to
Where are we going?
All right, and then if you would come over with your cake and just be right behind it, and then I will come in place and we will take a look at what everyone's created here. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Okay, cannot believe this is happening. I'll explain my surprise right now in just a moment. Keeping the... This is amazing. Okay, come forward. Okay. Have I seen you two before? Fantastic. Okay, this is a good thing. Word's getting around. Bakers are coming back. How many times have you entered this competition?
All 4.
Oh my gosh. I knew you looked familiar. Amazing. Okay, so remind me your names and where you're from, and then all of the components and how you made your cake.
So my name is Nina Baker. This is Sophie Baker.
I remember that, the baker part.
That's right. So I won't take up the whole rest of the show to explain all the elements, but I like to shout out about the Great British Baking Show inspiration. It starts tomorrow, so I'm very excited about it. I made it family friendly, so all the alcohol is cooked off. However, my inspiration was Happy Hour in Monterey Bay. And so the top tier is kind of summer in California.
All right, so here we go, the big reveal. And honestly, I'm hoping that at some point they can kind of tilt down to see even the inside of this little guy right there. Oh, so cute.
So for summer in California, I went with a Pinot Noir reduction in a chocolate cake, also Pinot Noir ganache and a fruity jelly. The bottom tier is winter in California, so I went with kind of a winter cake inspiration. So I have an orange almond cake with bourbon simple syrup and a bourbon caramel praline inside, and a brown butter cream cheese buttercream. And then the sea urchin is a whole entremet because I was inspired by the intermediate prompt. So the sea urchin is kind of the same flavors as the bottom tier, but in a mousse form with craquelin and a gingerbread base. And yes, the sunflower sea star is a pistachio macaron enrobed in a marzipan with candied citrus. Wow. And the octopus and the sea otter friend are both cake pops wrapped in chocolate. And then finally, my favorite component is the jelly, which is actually a kohakutu jelly. It's like it's a crystal jelly, but it's made with a French blonde cocktail. So it actually has a California coastal gin that has kelp in it. So that drew me to it, and I thought it was meant to be.
Wow, amazing. All the little details too. And the jelly.
So there was a bat right here. It looks like it got lost in transport since I turned in the cake, but it was a gingerbread cookie. So the bat ray lost it.
Amazing. Let's give a round of applause for this cake. Thank you. All right, you two. I brought my copy. I brought my copy because I'm very shocked to see you all again. You all, how many times have you been here?
This is our third time.
Third time. Thank you for coming back. This is amazing. So remind everyone of your names. I brought your book because I was so excited to see you. I'm a huge fan. Tell everybody what you all have done in your past and how important cake baking is to you.
So my name is Punhal Chaudhary.
And my name is Niall Chaudhary.
And both of us are co-CEOs of our baking business, Lajawab Treats.
And we do farmers markets. We sell at a store called Dish and Dash, so we're in a few of their locations. And I was honored to be the winner of Food Network's Kids Baking Championship, Season 11. So.
Just phenomenal. Phenomenal bakers, and you all gave me your book. Now remember, I'm not a judge, so I can't be bought, but I was very excited to meet you all and to have your parents come up and tell me how proud they were of you to come and be here for this event. And I missed you at the last one, but look what you brought this time. There we go. Okay, a beautiful shot of the inside. So who wants to talk about the different components? Does one of you want to do the cake and the decor? How do we want to do this?
He's going to explain the
flavors, and then we'll just go through it. So the flavor is actually what I made on the finale, the winning finale of Kids Baking Championship with a little twist. So it's a pandan cake with key lime curd, a coconut pastry cream, and it has toasted almonds, toasted coconut, and it's all wrapped in a Russian buttercream. And then the sea urchin is actually a mango tart at the bottom with cake pop of the cake flavor inside on top. And so we try to make it really tropical and try to go with some of the natural food colors like pandan to make the cake green on the inside like a kelp forest would be.
All right, and then the components?
And then on top, we made the Golden Gate Bridge because San Francisco. We also made sea lions that are playing right by the researcher that's in the boat. He's looking around for sunflower sea stars.
Is that Charles?
Yeah. Yup, it is. It is.
No, okay, all right. And then everything else?
Yeah, in the middle we have our whale that we made. It's a gray whale because that's the most common species in the San Francisco Bay. We also have our giant kelp over here, and as you can see, we put the frosting on top so that it looks like the actual kelp. And then around the whale, we have the buttercream that we have made like the ocean, and then some rocks surrounding that.
And then did we talk about this part in the front yet? I'm gonna have the camera kind of get to the front and yeah, okay.
So basically the part in the front is like a little underwater cove where the sunflower sea star is eating one of the sea urchins. And then also on the bottom, we've put some more sea urchins, which are the mango tart ones, and then some mini sunflower sea stars, because when they start, we did a lot of research. We talked to a marine biologist about this too. But when they start really, really small, and it's really cool to see how big they get. So that's why we included some mini ones at the bottom and like the king on top.
Fantastic work, you two. So good to see you again. Let's give them a round of applause. So you can step to the side a little bit. I'm gonna make a space for you to come right over here. There we go. Come on in. Come on in. Come on over. Okay. There you go. Yeah, exactly. All right. So, what are your names? Where are you from? And then tell me about the components on the cake here.
So my name is Veronica Burbridge. My name is Shirley's Kamat. And we're from San Jose, California. The prompt really inspired us to think about the biodiversity found in our local kelp forests. I'm a marine science student, and my best friend Shirley's here is a baker. But we've been baking however long I've known her, probably 15 or so years. And so we decided to take some inspiration from the saltiness of the ocean water. And so we did a salted caramel milk chocolate ganache, and we paired it with a banana cake. And there's also some caramelized bananas in there too. For the decorations, we really wanted it to just kind of feel like you took a big snapshot of just the most lively, wonderful, beautiful kelp forest. So all of the animals are relatively to scale. Listen, there may be some creative liberties, but for the most part, they are about 1/10. I don't know. So yeah, we did a big giant Pacific octopus. We did our cute little sea otter up there. If you look really, really close, the the urchin he's holding is actually open, like he's eating it. There's a Brandt's cormorant up there.
Let's see how close these cameras can get. Okay, so here's inside is one, and honestly, oh, can you see it? It's open. You can see the inside.
And then our little flying birdie up here, he's getting ready to dive in, and they are all individual feathers that I laid by hand. It took a long time. And there's another one somewhere over here who's kind of diving into a big school of anchovies. We did some jeweled top snails in there. We did some sunflower sea stars.
This one's going to be a little hard, but let's see. We're going to stretch the cameras and see if they can get to these little details. Like on the octopus in pink, there's these just little round, tiny little bits. And that's a snail. These little snails, right? Fantastic. Did we miss anything that what part of the cake did you work on?
I made the cake itself.
Okay. Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you for being here. She couldn't have done it without you. It's so heavy. Okay. All right. I'm going to have you two just step to the side. And then if you all would come right over here. And I feel like I recognize you as well. I'm pretty good with faces. How many times have you been here?
3 times.
3 times. How many times have you been on stage?
3 times.
Hey, fantastic. Okay, so remind us of your names and then tell me where you're from and all of the components that went into the cake.
So I'm Rochelle.
I'm Olivia. I'm Kaden.
Hi, Kaden. Thanks for being here. What went into your cake?
So this summer, my family and I went to Japan. So we tasted this delicious hojicha ice cream. And so I wanted to bring that flavor into the cakes. And so I also wanted to bring fall. I know, I'm sorry.
Still summer in San Francisco.
It's so hot in San Jose. Fall into the flavors too. So I poached some bosque pears in some hojicha and some brown sugar, as well as some honey. And then we also have hojicha in the dark chocolate ganache, as well as the buttercream. And then this is rice paper here. And then this is edible coral. And then the Bat Ray also it has the same components, except it just has the Feuilletine, I'm probably saying that incorrectly, Feuilletine chocolate crisp in it as well, which was fun to make, and I ate all the leftovers. And then the sea urchin is just made with fondant and rice noodle. And then all the other little elements are just fondant.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna have to turn this back around really quickly, but we'll do it fast.
Oh, and then also...
so there's the sea urchin.
Yes,
there
and
we
then
go.
just edible sand, which is just Nilla wafers, graham crackers, and some granulated sugar.
Fantastic. And you described all of these elements already of how you did this.
And
Okay.
there's some ice malt in there too, which I burned my finger. Be careful if you deal with ice malt.
That's a great lesson to remind all the bakers. I mean, look, you got a little seahorse here too. I don't know if you mentioned the little seahorse things that are all part of this. So there's the inside of the cake. Fantastic job. Let's give it up for our last baker here. Okay. I feel like the judges did not have an easy time with this one. I mean, obviously, 4 cakes up here. You all did fantastic, beautiful scapes. I think that what I would love to know a little bit more about, oh, you were ready? The judges have decided. All right, this is the final verdict. We'd love to have you come on over. Come on over, judges. Come a little closer. Adhiti, how was it?
It was incredibly difficult. I think this is the hardest advanced round we have ever had to judge. Just so hard. This first cake, I mean, oh my God, the fact that you had it looks like it's floating. Like, how did you do that? The use of the Japanese sponge also to create this like beautiful fuzzy texture of like the ocean floor, just so pretty. Then the second cake, like, oh my God, how did you do that? Like, did you hand paint each one? It's so beautiful. There's the textures on, I mean, oh my God. The textures are just fantastic on this cake. Like on every single component, the texture is phenomenal. On the third cake, it's also like the textures are beautiful. The detail is incredible. The fact that there's like a little tiny person who's like in the water and the Golden Gate Bridge is there.
Charles.
And like a hand-painted gray whale, like, oh my, blue whale, right? Gray whale. I had it right. Oh my God, like what is this? Every time y'all bake to the next level and the next level and the next level. The cake on the end, like, oh my God, that otter is so good. I remember tasting that cake and it tasted fantastic. This was so difficult that for the first time, we actually have decided that there are 2 winners.
Oh my gosh, the first time in Science is a Piece of Cake history?
Yes, there are 2 winners.
I can't believe
Yes.
this epic moment's happening. I'm not prepared. Okay, I have 2 hands.
The 2 cakes that have won
Okay.
are the 2 middle cakes. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, thank you all so much. I do want to ask the 2 sets of you. Go ahead. Nope, you're fine. What were you most excited to learn about this ecosystem when you were kind of doing your research? What was the thing that excited you the most, or you were most curious to learn?
Oh, the sea star wasting disease. She showed me about it, and I thought it was really cool, and I did some research about it, and I thought it was kind of crazy.
It's really interesting to see what's going to happen if we don't really take a look at what's going on with the animals in our sea. And the 2 of you, what were you the most excited that you learned about?
For me, it was the sunflower sea star because I've never heard of any creature that is like that looks like a flower. It was super interesting for me to learn about that.
I think it was like the way the sunflower sea star eats the sea urchins, because like you would imagine like it would get hurt because sea urchin has so many spikes, but like the way it eats it is just so cool. So I watched so many time-lapse videos before. But yeah.
They're amazing, the time-lapse videos.
Exactly.
Can we please give a huge round of applause to these 2 sets of bakers? All right, if you wouldn't mind exiting the stage as carefully as possible, we will get you it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
To all the bakers, really. Like, this is a phenomenal effort, and we cannot wait for you guys to try these cakes. A reminder that for everybody who won, everybody who was on stage, we have something for everyone. So please come see me in the lobby after the event.
All right. So there are so many different things that we obviously clearly were able to learn about all this. I would love to ask the 2 of you, you know, when we're kind of thinking about the future and things that you hope everyone comes away with from this event, what are some of the things that you're really excited about, and what are some of the things that you want people to think about when they're kind of thinking about our environment?
For me, the thing that came away that our advanced round bakers actually really exemplified really well, even though the prompt didn't specifically ask for it, is that they showed not just a huge diversity of animals in a kelp forest, but those animals are interacting with each other. So we see in these cakes, you know, birds diving for fish, we see a sea star eating an urchin, we see humans and sea lions interacting, and that's really the key critical component of a healthy ecosystem, and that's what we're really trying to get back to, is not just animals and plants and other things living in isolation, but really interacting with each other and creating balance.
All right. And Charles, the work that you do, like, what are you most excited for people to keep thinking about after this event as they kind of ponder our oceans?
Well, I think for me, it's raising the awareness of what's going on right off our shores. We have one of the most unique ecosystems in the world here in California when it comes to these kelp forests, and it's something that most people don't realize because it's under the surface of the sea. And so I think by being on television with us and the audience and the bakers, I think everyone's gained a new appreciation for what we have in our backyard, and we need to work to protect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Jamie, how are you feeling with all of this?
I need to up my game. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. The competition is like, you know, each time that I've done this show, so it's been 4 times now, and every single time, everybody is just bringing it, and it's leveling up. I mean, all the different mediums that everyone's using, the ecosystem of mediums that everyone is using, and it's just, I think everyone's really pushing the boundaries. Pushing the boundaries of how they can create cake and how they're doing it and what they're doing with it. So I think it's great. I mean, this is the second or third time that we've had a couple floating cakes, which is really cool. Yeah.
Every time that happens, I'm like, how does that happen?
And how did you transport it? So, I mean, it's been inspiring every time that I come to see everybody and what they're creating. So please keep creating, keep baking.
Yeah, Elisa, I'm curious, like, how do you feel about, like, the world of cake? You see so much cake, and there's a huge community.
Yeah, right now I feel like I'm sugar crashing because we tasted all of the cakes before you all walked in. So I'm sugar crashing, but I'm very happy. So I was so impressed with all of the cakes. And I think with Cake Picnic, the next one in San Francisco is October 19th. So I hope you all come. We're aiming for 2,000 cakes at that event. So you all need to be there if you love cakes. But I've seen 4,000 cakes in the last year. So even that table, this table, that table was incredible. And thank you all for sharing your creativity and art. It's so impressive. And San Francisco is definitely on the map for cakes. And I'm so glad that we're all doing it together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing.
Well, we have so many people to thank.
We really do. Yeah. I mean, we want to thank, obviously, our judges. Thank you guys so much for being here and being able to enjoy this. We also want to thank Cal Academy and the scientists who helped us work on these prompts. We also want to thank the participants, everybody who baked a cake, who entered and submitted. Thank you so much for participating. You blow us away every single time. It's amazing. And also to our baking collaborators. I feel like, I don't know, I want to do this again.
Should we do it again?
Yeah, I'd love to.
A fifth time?
A fifth time, yeah.
What should we do next?
Mushrooms? Oh, okay. Oh, fire. Okay,
Where's
fire.
Carol? Where's Carol? Mushrooms would be fun.
Mushrooms, maybe? I don't know. Maybe
We'll do
mushrooms?
some
I don't know.
mushrooms. We also have to thank every one of you who came. I want to thank everybody who was watching at home live. For any of you who haven't been to KQED, this is so important for us to all gather together. We know that we all had a bunch of fun here and everybody who was watching at home, but of course we're going to get to eat cake in a few minutes. Each one of you who brought a cake is also, not only did all the judges taste them, but they also judge them. So we were listening to your feedback, so there's gonna be feedback cards on the cakes that are out there. Another thank you to our bakers who brought the cupcakes, Kalaka Coffee, and of course, we want you to keep coming back. Our next event next Tuesday is called Wired, Uncanny Valley. It's about tech and podcasts. It's gonna be next Tuesday. All of our events are at 7 p.m. You can find them at kqed.org/live. And of course, if you can't make it, you can always watch at home. Thank you all so much for joining Adhiti and I again for our 4th installation of Science is a Piece of Cake. Let them eat cake. All right, let's get out of here.